Shalom lakam, which is peace unto you all. Hi Rob Tawab La Atham Zaakia Kam Yawam Man Rachagadal Charlotte, which is good evening. This is your brother Yawan from the GMS camp in Charlotte. Nachamatham Kaya Ha Malakwat Hashamayim Kwara Repent Ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Halayim La La Abanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua Bahasham Racha Hakwadash Wamashana La Zakwanium Nawa Malakim Shaw Rachagadal, which is all praises to our Father Yahweh, which means he exists. Bahasham, in the name Yahushua delivers, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 18. It says, "What profit if the graven image, that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image and the teacher of lies, that make the maker, Salah, that the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols." It says, "Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with silver and gold, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it." You see, so what benefit? You know, these idols have no benefit. You see, they're not going to avail anything. You see, because when we look at the times of calamities and troubles and things like that, the different woes that are set in the scriptures, you know, they never have any types of answers. You see, the only thing that has answers, the only book that has answers, is the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. You see, that's why it says right here in verse 19, "And there is no breath at all in the midst of it," talking about those idols. You see, the wood and the stone, talking about Christianity, all right, and then also Islam. You see, but I just want to go into this real fast. Touching on these idols. So I'm gonna get this real fast. This is let me get this. This is what they call the Vesica of Pisces, and you know, a lot of times, you know, people like Jay-Z, you know, you'll see it in like the I believe it's Chanel, you know, like the designer, but Esau put it out there in the symbolism and stuff like that. But essentially it goes back to Latin. It's called a fish bladder, you know, but the vesica part that goes into when you dig deeper down into like the root word, it goes into the uterus. You see, because this went into Queen of Heaven worship. But I want to skip down, and it says Renaissance artists frequently surrounded images of Yahweh Shah with the Vesica of Pisces. You see, and that essentially went, and it gave off it was a symbol for idol. You see, and I also got the word for ventricle, because it's actually what Vesica comes from. It says belly, paunch, stomach, appetite, womb, unborn child. Then it says the uterus when you skip down, you see. But they take that the symbol and pretty much just put it on different things. I got it right here as well. It says, which this is a quote. It says, "Birth portal to describe its purpose and energy is the basis of creation in this universe. However, when I contemplate the true nature of never-ending life, there is a cycle of destruction and creation, dissension and ascension, contraction and expansion. This has led me to name this form the bridge portal as it is a doorway that acts as a bridge between spirit and form." You see, and that's false, you know. And going into, you know, Habakkuk, you know, like we just got, you know, it said the teacher of lies. You know, that's a lie. I'm gonna go back to it. All right, and it says Salah. It says, "What profit the graven image?" Habakkuk 2:18 says, "What profit of the graven image, that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image and the teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols." You see, a teacher of lies, you see, because when you went back to that, it said the bridge portal, which they essentially trying to say that, you know, they made that, they essentially took something from, you know, the Hebrew letter Da, all right, and also the doorway, you know, because Yahweh Shah ultimately would be the door, you see, but they put in you know, false doctrine, you know, just like what they did with the Trinity, you know, because when you look at the Vesica of Pisces, it has the same pattern as the that little Trinity symbol that they got as well. But I'm gonna get a couple precepts real fast. This is John chapter 10 and verse 9, and it says, "I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture." You see, so ultimately Yahweh Shah represents that door. All right, let me get another one, because essentially they tried to tie that into Ishtar worship. All right, so this is Genesis Barashith chapter 28. All right, and we'll get verse 12, and it says, "And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder," which that word ladder is salam. It says, "set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angels of the Most High ascending and descending on it. All right, I'm going to go into this commentary real fast. And it says right here, skip down. It says a ladder was set up on the earth, and its top reached to heaven, and there were the angels of the Most High were ascending and descending on it. In Jacob's dream, there was now access to heaven. Yaquab now knew the Most High was closer than he ever thought before, and there was real access and interaction between heaven and earth. All right, and it says, I'm gonna skip down. It says Yahweh Shah made it clear in John 1:51 that he is the access to heaven. He is the means by which heaven comes down to us, and by which we can go to heaven. You know, which essentially he will represent that ladder. So I'm gonna get another precept. This is John chapter 5, and we can get verse 21, and it says, verse 20, it says, "For the Father loveth the Son, and sheweth him all things that himself doeth, and he will shew him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. For as the Father raises up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son whom he will even so the Son quickeneth whom he will. For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son." You see, so Yahweh Shah, you know, the scriptures say that all things consist by him. All right, in Colossians chapter 1, and we'll get verse 15. It says, verse 16, it says, "For by him," verse 15. We'll start from verse 13. And it says, "Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature," talking about Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. "For by him were all things created that are in heaven and in the earth, or that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things are created by him and for him." You see, so all things was created by him, because essentially he got the blueprint from the Most High Yahweh, So going into creation, you see, but then going back, all right, we was at John chapter 5, and we'll get verse 22, and it says, "For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son." You see, so Yahweh Shah received that title. He received that that authority from the Lord Yahweh. That's his place. He's over creation, as well as those that are destroyed. So nevertheless, continuing on, let's get this. I'm gonna get this. This is the word for Dalath, you see, because they tried to put that into the ideology, the false ideology of the Trinity, the so-called Trinity, which I'm gonna actually get some on that real fast. This is Salat. This is John 10:30. It says, "I and my Father are one." You see, so they're both on the same accord. Doesn't mean that, they're the same person, how the Christian, dogma preaches, you got the Father and you got the Son. They're on the same accord, So continuing on, let's go back to Salat. This right here. It says Dalath, the door. Yahweh Shah is that door. He's that connection. He will be that. He's that ladder. But it says Dalath. It says Dalath, a doorway. A doorway is a connection. It says Lamad, which is it goes into a staff. You see, and the staff. When you have staff, that represents authority. Because Yahweh Shah received that authority from the Most High Yahweh. All right, and it has the thought for the sign, or to delineate, and pretty much it goes into connection. Who is the authority that delineates, or connect. Yeah, the connection for the authority that delineates, talking about Yahweh Shah, because he's the connection, he's also that staff, and he's the one that ultimately delineates, and we'll get that definition for the word delineate as well. All right, and it says delineate, and it says to describe or portray or set forth with accuracy or in detail. All right, we'll get that word for portray, and it says to describe in words. All right, because essentially the scriptures say in order to have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, you got to be in the spirit of prophecy. So I'm gonna get that real fast, because essentially that, Yahweh Shai does that for the elect. But this is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10, and it says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said, I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, and he said unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, these are the true sayings of the Most High. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So in order to have this right here, that true portraying, or to be described in words, or to be depicted, to make a picture of, in order to be delineated, one ultimately would have to have the testimony in order to have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, you got to be in the spirit of prophecy, just like it had just stated, So I'm gonna get another one, because this proves that, we have a mediator in the heavens. But this is First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5, and it says, for there is one power and one mediator between the Most High and men, the man Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right, so he's the mediator. I'm gonna get this real fast. This is like Barya Hebrews chapter 8, and we'll get verse 6, and it says, but now he hath obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. You see, so Yahweh Shai represents that mediator. I'm gonna also get this. This is Psalms Tahoyim chapter 144, and we'll get verse 11, and it says, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. You see, so talking about Esau Edom, because he's chiefly the one that pushes forth, this idolatry. He does his research with the different societies and stuff like that. So he ultimately understands what is a trap for Jake. That's what he puts in his society. He puts things like the Trinity, or he puts things like, okay, well, with Jay-Z, the Vesica of Pisces, he puts things like our Queen of Heaven worship. He puts that spirit in places like America, Babylon the Great. He pushes to where he over sexualizes the community or the society, to where it's just, pandemonium, which pandemonium, that means all demons. All right. But this is Yashaya, Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 3, and it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fill in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And that's ultimately what's going on. That's why we, like, at this day and time, if you look at places like Houston, they had a endemic down there, because that society, this society is over sexualized. Esau has, the porn, he puts it inside, cartoons. He sexualizes the cartoons, he puts things in the air, the food, to pretty much where it's making it into a society of to where people are worshiping that Queen of Heaven spirit, mentioned in like Ephesus, when they had Diana, But continuing on, I'm gonna get this real fast. This is Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, verse 1. Verse 2, it says, thou hast planted them. Verse 1, it says, righteous art thou, O Lord, when I plead with thee. Yet let me talk with thee of thy judgments. Wherefore doeth the way of the wicked prosper? Wherefore are all they happy that deal very treacherously? Thou hast planted them, yea, they have taken root. They grow, yea, they bring forth fruit. Thou art near in their mouth, but far from their reins. And see, ultimately it says near in their mouth because of this right here. This is Tahoyim, Psalm chapter 73 in verse 9, and it says, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. You see, so they constantly blaspheme. You see, that's why we got this right here, because including this into, Esau Edom did this, he included this into the scriptures, if you will. He is the one with the iconoclasm, the Renaissance era, where he painted the Lord as if he was a so-called white man. He's the one that included him in things as such. This is where this ideology comes from. But nevertheless, continuing on, we'll get Ecclesiastes, Kohelet, chapter 3, and we'll get verse 15, and it reads, it says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High required that which is past. You see, so there's no new thing under the sun. You know, back in the ancient world, they was into stuff like this, but you see what Esau has done. He's went back. The scriptures say he's in a diligent search. You know, essentially going into how his heart is deep. You know, so he's done. He's went and did his research. You know, so he's put these different spirits into America, Babylon, the Great. You see, he ultimately think he's going to get away scot-free, you know, but no, the Lord is going to require that which is past. You know, he's that when you go into that word require, it goes into bakwash, which means to make an inquisition or to search out. You know, it says to desire, to exact, to demand. You know, he's being sought out. You know, this devil's being exposed. All right. Now I got this written down right here. It says vesica, which is a bladder, blister. It says ventral, denoting the uterus. Then Pisces is a fish, which in turn, you know, end quote, or to begin the quote, you know, it's the uterus of the fish, end quote. In their terms, you know, which essentially they would say, you know, women represented circles, and they would put two of them together. That's why when you know, Jake and you know, these heathen was in school, you know, they say, okay, make a Venn diagram. You know, it'll be two circles together, pretty much looking like the Chanel symbol. You know, pretty much not predictive programming, but essentially how Esau works in he works in layers. You know, so I'm gonna get some precepts on that as well, because that ultimately went into like Queen of Heaven worship. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 7, and we'll get verse 18. And it says the children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. All right, and that's essentially what has happened time and time again. You know, that's why we're in this captivity. All right, but I'm gonna get some more precepts on this. This is Acts. This is Acts. It's Acts chapter 19. We'll get verse 24, and it says, for a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen. I'm gonna get this word for Diana, and it says Artemis. It says complete light flow. It says Artemis, and essentially it went into those that was in Ephesus. All right, and it says Artemis, that is to say the so-called Tauric or Persian or Ephesian Artemis, the goddess of many Asiatic people, to be distinguished from Artemis of the Greeks, the sister of Apollo. It says a very splendid temple was built to her at Ephesus, which was set on fire by her Herostratus and reduced to ashes, but afterwards, in the times of Alexander the Great, it was built in a style of greater magnificence. You know, so I'm gonna read again. It says Ephesian Artemis, the goddess of many Asiatic people, to be distinguished from the Artemis of the Greeks, the sister of Apollo. Nevertheless, you know, it went into one of the those Grecian or Greek so-called goddesses, you know. So because it actually was one of the wonders of the world, if I'm not mistaken, like one of the 7 wonders of the world, you know, according to Esau's history. So it says whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. You see, going into pretty much they have wealth by making an idol, you know, and that's how a lot of things are made, because dudes is looking to make some money, you know. And it says, moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people, saying they be no gods which are made with hands. Hey, pretty much, you know, was tearing down them strongholds, you know. That's what this word does. It tears down those strongholds. Let me get a quick precept. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. You see, so that's essentially what this word does, and that's what was happening. When Paul was pushing his ministry, But continuing on, it says Acts 19 and 25, 26, and it says 27. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth. And when they heard these things, these sayings, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians. And the whole city was filled with confusion, and having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater. And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not, and certain of the chief of Asia, which were his friends, sent unto him, desiring him that he would not adventure himself into the theater. Some therefore cried one thing, and some another, for the assembly was confused, and the more part knew not wherefore they were come together. And they drew Alexander out of the multitude, the Jews putting him forward, and Alexander beckoned with the hand, and would have made his defense unto the people. But when they knew that he was a Jew, all with one voice, about the space of 2 hours, cried out, Great is Diana of the Jews. And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, Yea, men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how the city of the Ephesians is a worshipper of the great goddess Diana, and the image of which fell down from Jupiter? So pretty much the point was, that it was like one of the pretty much Jake that was scattered amongst them, was going off because they was worshiping. They was into that Queen of Heaven worship, So I'm gonna get this real fast. But that pretty much was going into the temple of Artemis, at Ephesus, and these was the so-called 7 wonders of the world. All right, and as we can see, the Artemis one was like was around like 262 AD, looks like, but it was one of the wonders of the world at the time. They had the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Great Pyramid at Giza, and the Temple of Artemis, and also Colossus of Rhodes, and etc. and etc. So I'm get a couple more precepts. Get Isaiah, Yeshaya chapter 44. 44, and we'll start at verse 9, and it says, They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not nor know that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a god or a molten image that is profitable for nothing? It's not gonna have any benefit. Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are of men. Let them be gathered together. Let them stand up. Yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed together. The smith with the tongs both worketh in the coals, and fashion it with hammers, and worketh it with strength of his arms. Yet he is hungry, and his strength faileth. He drinketh no water, and is faint. The carpenter stretched out his rule. He marketh it out with a line. He fitteth it with planes. He marketh it out with the compass, and maketh it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may remain in the house. Pretty much going to the making of an idol. He heweth him down cedars and cypress, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengtheneth for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash, and the rain doeth nourish it. Then shall it be for man to burn, for he will take therewith. For he will take thereof, and warm himself. Yea, he kindle it, and break bread. He maketh a god, and worship it. He maketh it a graven image, and falleth down thereto. He burneth part thereof in the fire. With part thereof with part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasteth roast, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm. I have seen the fire, and the residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image, which graven goes into something that someone falls down to and worships it. He falleth down unto it, and worship it, and prayeth unto it, and saith, deliver me, for thou art my power. And you actually got Jakes that do that, JC, you got Jakes that's into Islam, falling down to Allah, which that just means God, But when you really dive into it, that star and that crescent moon, that really goes back to Baal, the worship of Baal, That star has also been associated with Ishtar. Then it says, they have not known nor understood, for he hath shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand. None considereth in his heart, neither is there their knowledge, nor understanding to say, I have burned part of it in the fire, yet also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof, I have roasted flesh and eaten it, and shall I make the residue thereof an abomination, shall I fall down to the stock of a tree. He feedeth on ashes, the deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand? And nobody actually considers this, just like in the ancient world, in the time of the Ephesians in Ephesus, they was falling down to it's pretty much worshiping in the temple of Diana. They was baking the cakes to the Queen of Heaven, that Queen of Heaven spirit, because really that Vesica Pisces, that Trinity, all of that is associated with the same thing, And they tried to put a spin on that and then tie it into the truth, But nevertheless, the scriptures say that Esau was going to be found out. The Lord was going to make an inquisition, you see. So this devil's, nothing's getting past the spirit, This devil's being exposed, Everything that he pretty much upholds, sports, whatever. It's all being found out to be a lie, So just wanted to go into that, I don't want to Zaban. Oh, Salat. I'm gonna get another one. This is Shabbat Judges chapter 2, and we'll get verse 11, and it says, and the children of Yasha'Allah did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim, and they forsook the Lord power of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth, which the Vesica Pisces, the Queen of Heaven, all of that, Diana of the Ephesians, that goes back to Ishtar, or what, like it says right here, Ashtaroth, that goes back to that, So that's just what Esau does, is he takes things and repackages them and makes them, be in a certain way, to better appease the likings or the desires of the people in a specific time period, But again, the Lord is exposing this devil. Again, Adawaratazah, Zabanaya Apollos, where there's a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wa Adawaratazah, Atham Yash Layla Tawabi, Lord's will. You all have a good night. Wa Shalom.